Hello and welcome. Today is that of Thursday, second day of November 2017. Welcome. My name is Derek, and in this video, let's take a look at some altcoins. And everything you do is within your own risk and own reward. We'll take a look at just three or so codes in which I bought today, codes that I haven't talked about, or at least not recently. The first being Burst, which I got in at 72 satoshi earlier today. The price action got as high as 1,000 earlier as the summer began and has been on a roller coaster of magnificent proportions on the way down. I mean, this is a big roller coaster move down, boom, and up it goes, and down it goes, and don't be surprised if it has another burst, no pun intended, to the upside. Let's take a look at this on a shorter term time frame on the 1/3 day. As I looked at it, I'm looking at different codes. And I only want to spend a small amount of my Bitcoin, and I'm thinking, I'm going to put a lot of buy orders in, but a few of them I thought was ready to buy now because as I looked at it, this is a good enough pierce below the area which it broke down from, which was 102, and even again at 96. So that is why I managed to enter into the position. And at 72, it would have been most likely the only place it could have been was in here because it was 74 or 75 when I was looking at it. I'm looking at the order book on the site in which I bought it on. And I'm thinking, you know what, 72 is just probably going to be as easy to get. Let's put the buy order in there, see it gets executed. And then I put sell orders in. Where? Well, let's take a look at this again on a more longer term time frame. And let me actually just look at my data so I can tell you some exact numbers. And I'm going to be selling short term and long term. So first is at around a little under 100. So if we look back at this again on a more shorter term time frame, this is where it came from. So basically, within this range, 98, 97, 96, it's one of those three numbers. That's where my first sell order is in, and I'm only selling, well, exactly, about 35% of my position. But after that, I'm going to be selling at some higher spots. Next one will be a play within this level of resistance and support in the mid 130s as the next sell order. And each time I sell, I'm going to sell a little less amount of burst coins because they're worth more. And I can do this to have multiple sell orders, and the remaining sell orders come in at around 200, 250, and 333. So that'd be 200, 250 in here, and then 333 is the big one, which represents this high and this level of support. And yeah, I want to sell up here. But each time that I sell, I'm going to be looking to buy it back at a significant lower price and thus able to buy more than I sell. So if I can sell 10,000 at one area, I can buy back maybe 13,000 at the cheaper price. No guarantee I'm going to be able to do it, but the way I look at it mathematically, if this thing just shoots up high, this is like one of my regular plays. There's no large added extra Bitcoins that I've added into it where I can afford to put sell orders in. I'm going to talk about it if I could. It's the best way of doing it. And because of that, I only want to play in the few. And if it goes higher, then I'm going to get a gain of well over 100% than what I invested. And I'm happy with that because that's what my whole job is to do, is to gain in Bitcoins via trading the alternate coins. If I had a whole bunch more, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 times of a higher portfolio, I'd be looking to put a sell order in around 400 again. Maybe a little higher, around 410, 415 to 25. Then again, I don't know how much I'd want to do 500. I know it matches up with the support, but I think I'd rather do closer to 560. And then again, you're looking just to get these numbers, gap fill on the high side. And it really doesn't matter too much where you go. You can go 700 and it really doesn't make much of a difference. I like to play these key areas in here, like the top at 800, the even number at 1,000, put a sell order at like 995, 982, be a little safer, 925 kind of deal. And really put them all over the place. And if you want to just play a simple number, just every so many basis points, you can technically buy, say you're buying, say 0.2 worth of it, which I'm buying less than that, or I did buy less than that rather. And then you can sell like 100 times, like every 25 points. Just keep on putting sell order in. I've even seen people put sell orders every satoshi for the minimum amount, like hundreds and hundreds of sell orders back in the day, which was months ago. However, there's nothing wrong with having multiple sellers and even playing for the massive gains. If you think it can go way higher, there's nothing wrong with putting in sell orders for 14, 1500, 2000. Now, granted, that's another way of holding on a long-term level where you're just going to play all the moves, because if something weird happens and someone buys, shoots it way up on a weird just spike higher where someone just buys it like crazy because they got millions and millions and they can and they do such, then you'll get your sale. But just an idea, and having sell orders in place ready to buy lower is what I'm going to do. And I'm already 6 minutes in. I've only done one code. We put this, and I got to put this back on log scale because it looks like this on the codes that go under 100 Satoshi. It looks terrible. All these moves. And now if I put this on a shorter term time frame, like say a 4-hour chart, it's just terrible. Anyway, let's put the next code up. And let's look at the hourly chart on Golden. Now, I can't show you on this chart where I bought today because being the master trader that I am, I actually traded closer to the 1,000 handle. And I'm not selling immediately, even though I can take an instant 20% gain because the price action on Bittrex is in at 1202 right now. As I was able to buy at levels not seen at quite some time. This thing is in a major downtrend, and I want to buy? Yeah, I know, weird, eh? I bought at 1,000 and a hair above it, which to me, if you're looking to enter into a buy order, that 1,000 number just very well may hit and be a good buy spot. I mean, buying at 12 now I think is still fine. Because this is like, if you're looking to buy on the cheap, because it's broken a good leg lower, it's at a spot where it's supposed to go down, and you're already at a price target well above where your intended sell level is, which is what I would consider with 1,200, that if you buy in here, you're looking to sell in at 21 even. This level of support, like, yeah. And if this thing can really go, look what happened back in 2016. I mean, this was just mental, as some might state. 475 Satoshi. And then in a little over a month, it goes up to 15,000 Satoshi. That's crazy, crazy things to think about. So when I talked about in bursts of just having those insane sell orders ready, it's very likely that if you're playing in here and you're trying to get insane orders, that you never got anywhere near close to this top. You would have been like, oh my goodness, this is at 2,600 Satoshi. I'm profiting out. And I would be one of those people. Although I'm always trying to stay in these runs the best that I can. It's part of the game I like to play. I haven't had too many of these lately. But you know what? I hold to be able to get into it, because when events like this happen and you're already long, this is when I can become active, then I can try to become creative and get extreme profits along the way in different various day trading methods. And I mean, you can be looking back in here, you never know when this is going to happen. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to sell at 1,400, have a sell order at 1,800, and man, 5,000-6,000 would be awesome. And 5,000-6,000 was up in here. But if you look at it within the game, even if you sold at 5,000, here you have an opportunity to buy back at 3,000 and watch it go down even more. And if you were to say, oh yeah, remember when you sold off before at, say, a little bit at 28. Well, yeah, now it's at, like, we'll say 15. Yeah, might as well buy back again. And even just selling in here 1,500 to 4,000 or 3,300 or 3,000, it's all good. You don't have to pick these tops or bottoms. If you're just speculating in at 1796, it went down a bit more, then it goes up and you're above the 18 average of highs, you're like, man, 3,100, I'm out, even though it goes to 4,000. And now you're in the middle of the 18. Well, at this point you're in the middle of the 18, you can buy up. There's a selling opportunity. Buy in here, no selling opportunity when you bought at 3,000. When you bought at 2,000, if you bought here, you had one selling opportunity. If you didn't do it and you missed, you lost out. So now, as far as where this thing lies, where would the significant break below here come? I would have to think around 1,000, and we also have to play in this little area here at around 700 as well. That's a creative spot to put a buy order. If you want to go deeper in this range, you're looking at 500. Let's go to the next code. And this code is that of Faircoin, and I've been buying this and selling this for a few days. It's been my favorite recently, only because I've creatively been able to massively increase my bankroll without having to increase Bitcoins too much. When you look on the hourly time frame, and you're looking at this situation, what are we consistently seeing over the last week or so? Markets shooting up really high above the 18 and then making it back higher. It did it at the early stage on the 26th of October, right in here. And then back down towards this layout point in here. Again, up in here. This is a spot where if you sell anywhere well above it, again, even if you only sell at, say, 13,400, and then you wait for a move at or below the 18 average of lows, at turns out to be 12,000 below, gets you, well, about 12,000. Not much of a gain really overall, but it's still some, but this is short term. When we're looking at the hourly time frame, you have to be really active in this case, because that means you can't activate when you're sleeping. Although you can have your sell orders ready and wake up and get them, and have your buy orders ready. That'll work. I mean, if you go to, say you go to bed right here and it's like 13,000, you go to bed, you're like, okay, this is in a nice uptrend. I'm gonna have a sell order in. You look at the last highs. Okay, this thing went from 10,000 up to 12, up to what's been, well, it's chopping around, but really around 14,000. So we're looking at about 16,000 or so. You put a sell order at 16,000, you go to bed, your sell order gets hit. You got 3 or 4 more hours of sleep. You wake up and this is what you see. Oh, now you can decide to buy back now, or you can look at the message of the market and think, the safe play, if you want to go long, is to buy back now. Because you're already looking at about a small, but it's still in there, of about a 6% gain minus rake of paying fees. Or again, you could say, well, I want to play the 18 average of lows. Get a little bit of a cheaper price, but if you go below it, this is where you've got a little cheaper. But any order in here got much cheaper. But this is where the gamble comes in. See, if you were to buy in here, that's like the safe buy, and you can see how you can profit on it. But if you put a buy order in, say, 13,158, man, that worked out great. But if you put a buy order in, say, at around an area of, say, 12,980, then that doesn't. And I'll let you know one of the things that I do, for the most part, when I put buy orders in, I do a little over the zero number. So if I'm looking to buy at 13,000, I'll do like 13,007, somewhere in that area. And just like stores, I'll sell the 99 number. So if I'm looking to sell at 20,000, I'll put a sell order for 19,997. That is my general trading because of how much these things do those even numbers. And if they're going to bottom at it. So that last code, NLG, the even number of that ZIT1 number, I do a hair above it, like 2, 3, 4 satoshis larger than that number. And if it's 10,000, maybe 60 satoshi, like 10,060 or whatever it may be. So therefore, it's already had this move upwards to 17, back down to the band. And when we look at this more clearly on the daily chart, it's been in this nice sideways action. It's now leaving this rising 18 average. Does it have more momentum to the upside? It very easily could. When it left this 18 average, it was about here-ish time frame. Even considering that 18 started rising back in here, there's definitely reason this thing could test this high. And considering it made a higher low, although barely a higher low, from the last high's break low, because when its last key low from this top was down in here. So it could easily have a better rally than it did before. It's just a better result than the last time the bulls were in play. So it's definitely potential that this can go higher. I don't play on fundamentals and know, okay, this one's a scam coin or this one's so great and they got the inside track. If I did, it would be easier. But if it works out, I'm always going to play. Just in case it's good, I'm going to play for potential gains. Right now, I'm just accumulating such. It's been better than I figured it would be, as it's running well like KOMODO was when I was accumulating that a few months ago, at least on the early stages. It's got a nice weekly chart possibility when I take a look at this. Spending pretty much all of 2016 and much into 2017 in this sideways manner, resisting 4,000 satoshi, supporting roughly around 1,500. And when it broke it, it has been chopping up and down, but it's been holding that really, really well. So there's definitely risks involved where this they could just plummet and fall back down to the 4 to 5,500. If you're looking to find something and hope to get a cheap price, put a buy order in there, or even put an alert in. If you don't have the Bitcoins to put in all these different orders in, one way of doing it is put an alert in for like 6,500. Okay, if it goes below 6,500, let me know. Then you put your buy order in after that, because if you got like 100 buy orders in, you can run out of Bitcoin very fast while still having them. It's just run out of Bitcoins too quickly to be able to use. All right then, I did 3 videos in 17 minutes. My plan was to do it at about 10 or so. That's very common for me. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.